My name is Edgar Servin. I did my integrated case analysis on Anheuser-Busch. Anheuser-Busch began in 1952 and was known as a Bavarian brewery. In 1960, Eberhard Anheuser renamed it to Anheuser and Company. After the marriage of Adolphus Busch with Lily Anheuser, Eberhard introduced his son-in-law to the company and later renamed it Anheuser-Busch. After World War II, Anheuser-Busch became the largest brewer in the United States. From this on was when the company began to grow more and more. In 2008, Anheuser-Busch was bought off by InBev, a company from Belgium, for $70 a share, which renamed the company to AB InBev. After the merger, AB InBev became the largest brewer in the world, with a portfolio of over 200 beers, and it's one of the top 5 consumer goods product companies. Anheuser-Busch uses the equity model, which has a diverse environment. Being in so many nations all around the world, Anheuser-Busch has been able to be one of the few companies that have different cultures all around. There's people from different cultures, and each person from a different culture gets motivated a different way. Some of the benefits and motivators include job security and promotions. The more benefits, the more motivated. Maslow wanted to understand what motivates people. He believed people possess a set of motivation system unrelated to rewards and unconscious desires. There are 5 stages: psychological, safety, love, esteem, and self-actualizations. If you fulfill every step, you might get bored and you feel like there's nothing left in life. Anheuser-Busch always has new and innovative projects, so you don't have to feel that way. So if you're done with one part of your life, you get a new project, or you could be part of an innovative idea. For example, most of the people were getting tired of Budweiser beer because it was the same beer for many generations. In 1981, Bud Light was introduced as an alternative. This has become the world's greatest beer and currently sells 19.1% of the market share in the United States. David McClelland had a needs to acquire theory. These needs are needs that are learned over experiences. Anheuser-Busch has always stayed focused and with the vision of being the world's greatest beer. This vision started in 1952 when he began to brew the first beer under the Bavarian brewery. One of his theories was that for every bad time, there's a good time. For example, during the Prohibition, he began to sell alternative goods rather than stopping production like most of the breweries. These breweries went out of business, and currently Anheuser-Busch is the only brewery that began in the 1800s to still be present this day in St. Louis, Missouri. In order to become an effective leader, you must be involved with your team. For example, in sports, their leader is the coach. The coach tells them what to do and is involved in every play. But the team is there to support the coach and bear with them. For example, the Hershey-Blanchard situational leadership theory. This theory believed that successful leaders have different styles. Pretty much there's no one correct style. Depending on what the time is or the moment you're in, you have to use different styles. Part of this theory includes telling, selling, participating, and delegating. Pretty much what this means is you got to keep changing. You got to be innovative when it comes to a certain thing, certain way to doing stuff. For example, Anheuser-Busch first began with Budweiser. After Budweiser, he introduced Michelob. The Room-Diego theory is pretty much how successful leadership emerges and progresses. There are 3 parts to this theory, which is an autocratic, consultative, and collaborative. Autocratic pretty much is when you make and inform as like a leader or a manager. You make a decision and you inform it to your team. Consultative is a little bit different. Pretty much you create your own ideas and your team creates their ideas, and then you mix them together and then you choose from there. And the third one is the collaborative. Pretty much this is working together to find one decision. Pretty much AB has multiple divisions, and each division is in charge of a certain part of the company. Most of the time the teams get together and they decide, for example, like the marketing team, decide what the next project is going to be. Out of a pool of ideas, they're going to end up choosing one of what they believe is the perfect idea for that certain situation. Emotional intelligence identifies, uses, and manages emotions. These emotions include self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Anheuser-Busch wants all employees to be both physically and emotionally healthy. They provide a support team to get through hard times. If you're going through a hard time with the company or any personal problem, they have a psychologist or doctors that can help you get through all these problems and make you feel healthier. Negotiation. Negotiation is defined as a mutual discussion and arrangement of the terms of the transaction or agreement. A cross-cultural negotiation, depending on the culture, negotiations are done a little bit differently. For example, in the Latino, Asian, or Arab culture, decisions tend to be more of a long-term, and they like to take time to think thoroughly through these discussions. Most of the time, they will involve their family. Family is a big deal when it comes to these cultures. And then here in America, where pretty much if you're the leader, you don't need to ask the rest. You're in charge. You make your own decisions, and these decisions tend to be more of a short term. The levels of conflict include interpersonal, intrapersonal, intergroup, and intragroup. Interpersonal are attitudes and behaviors that are being opposed. Intrapersonal are a little bit different. They use the approach, avoid, or the approach, avoid. Intergroup are when a group is fighting over the same resources. That's when intergroup conflict occur. And intragroup are disputes within the same organization. Most of the conflicts tend to happen mainly with competitors for Anheuser-Busch, such as Miller Coors. Change management are the steps or sequence of events that a manager might change in order to implement ideas to a certain project. There are 3 phases. Number 1, you must prepare for the change. You must let everybody in your group know that there will be changes. Number 2 is you must manage the change. You must implement a plan or ideas. Number 3 is once it's been managed, you must reinforce the change. You have to keep the change, love it or leave it. Either you like it or you take it off if you don't like it. And if you don't like it, then you start all over again. You're going to cultivate change. Cultivating change, values might be modified. That's one of the cons of it. But the pro is you change to more modern ideas and you create a new set of rules. Because pretty much with the pass of time, many things change. The way things were 50 years ago are no longer the same now. Emergent of a new culture. One of the new cultures that's emerging in the United States, especially in California, in this certain geographical area, is the Latino community. One way Anheuser-Busch is reflecting the Latino community is by introducing a line of products such as the Bud Light and Budweiser Chelada products. These are products mainly targeted to Hispanic markets. Also, they recently purchased Grupo Modelo, which is Mexico's #1 beer seller, and this has given a great impact to the Hispanic community, and it's going to keep growing because the projections from here to 2050 indicate that the Latino community will be soon around a bit over a quarter of the population in the United States. To sum everything up, Anheuser-Busch has been an innovative company, yet still keeps the old traditions such as the view Eberhard Anheuser had of being the best beer. Today, it's a little bit different. There are more products. They have been changing with the pass of time, as we had explained earlier. Anheuser-Busch has always been a giant and will continue to be one, but now globally.